There's one thing about retired superheroes, there's always someone in the wake waiting to take over for them, and they never like it.
Right. What's going on, everybody? I'm Lloyd.
I'm Natasha with
Midnight Comics,
and
welcome to another episode of What We're Reading. And today we're reading Sparrow.
Before we get started, make sure you subscribe if you're interested in indie comic books that are actually very good stories, because we do What We're Reading every Saturday, where we will present to you a new indie comic book that we've been reading and enjoyed.
Yes.
Also, don't forget that we also will have a Patreon, but more about that at the end of the video.
Yeah. So, of course, with our new setup, we're going to get started first with the cover. Cover's pretty good.
I very much like the cover.
Yeah, cover's pretty good.
I think it does that thing that we like, where it kind of tells the story a little bit. Which you're not quite sure what that is until you've read it, and then you go back and look at it. You're like, oh, okay, I see it.
Yeah. So with that, not too terribly much there.
As like, nicely done.
It's really nicely done.
It's nicely colored. The characters really stand out really good.
Yes. And so we transition that into the interior art. Interior art looks great. Again, line art, colors, all that stuff pops really well. The first thing that kind of comes to mind, or what it reminds me of when I initially was reading in regards to artwork and stuff like that.
Squirrel Girl.
No, but I was gonna say Invincible in regards to just kind of the feel of it. Now I feel like early Invincible, the drawing wasn't all that great, but like the colors and stuff is what I'm referring to in regards to. Okay, facts. But just in regards to the colors and the line art, everything's very sharp. Everything's really concise. It's not too terribly detailed.
But I think it fits the story.
Very much fits the tone. Exactly.
I love when the art inside of the comic fits the story.
Yes.
I think that's why we're so particular about artists, because it's
for
like,
our various stories,
oh man, I love your art, but it doesn't fit the story.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't match the tone, and so I can't use you for this story.
But hopefully we use it on something else. But yeah, so like the tone and the direction that they went with the interior art is really good and fits very perfectly for what they're doing.
I love you can see the features on the characters.
Mm-hmm.
You can very much tell who each person is, their ethnicity, and all that. Because I've literally read stories with characters where it was a black man, and for like 3 pages he looked white, and then all of a sudden he's black.
Very detailed and very intentional what they were doing again in regards to all the artwork. Everything stayed consistent and all that. So definitely props there. Next up, we're going to move over to the story. The story is really good. I really do like, and not to spoil too terribly much, but I like that initial premise where this hero failed, right? Family is in danger. I love that because you're not going to get it right every time. And he failed, his family was in danger, they're hurt, daughter exhibited some powers, wife dead. Again, these are like the first pages, so it's not like super spoilers, because then we get a flash forward. It's kind of like a coming of age story. But he failed and he retired. He retired from being a hero. But the story is actually going to be following his daughter, who becomes Sparrow. So we get to see the dynamic of a retired hero who has a chip on his shoulder, really. And then we move on to the daughter, who's still really full of life and looking towards the future and all the possibilities. Youthful vigor, in which I think they do a good job of not having the teenage angst, but still having the youthful vigor of diving into this mission.
More like the anger of not being allowed to do what it is she's trying to do because she believes it's the right thing. Same with her sister. Both of them are very sweet girls. They believe in helping people. And I love also the name Sparrow, because it's one of those things where the name you take up is a name symbolic, because it was given to you by someone. It was a nickname. It meant something. Like, I love those kinds of names. Names that mean something. Yeah. They have, the name has a
deeper connection to the character as well. Yeah.
I love those.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're gonna move right into the pacing. Pacing
was nice.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible, but it did move really fast.
Yeah. Which, not necessarily bad. The story didn't necessarily suffer. We definitely want to see more, and you're going to want to see more as well. But it's the first run of the book. It's Sparrow issue 1. You're going to see that. This is indie, right? We're all just trying to get into the game, into the field. So, of course, we're going to run into that. in the various indie comic book stores. So again, the story doesn't suffer for it, but it is a bit of a quick kind of pace in regards to it. But again, nothing too terrible.
It's trying to really move along. It's different from what we said with Your Own Gods, for instance.
Yeah.
It's like there was a very good pacing from start to finish, and it took us through the day of a teenage boy.
Right.
This takes us through the day of a teenage girl, but the pacing
But it
is
moves
a
way
little
faster.
different. It's a little fast. It could use some extra story beats to kind of keep it flowing a little more
better
naturally, but it's still a really good story.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. And so, with that being said, Sparrow #1, definitely a very well done book overall. Definitely recommend you guys check that out.
And of course, remember, we are Midnight Comics. Don't forget to check us out at www.midnightcomics.org, where we have our own comic books, manga, and merchandise.
Yep. Don't forget to check out our Patreon, which has a whole host of various shows and things on there for you to check out. Where we have our What If Wednesdays, where we go live every Wednesday with a random scenario. We also have our Community Character Creation Night, where you guys can make a character that should be in the background of Midnight Comics. And then, of course, we also have the early looks at Indie Breakdown / Disney Versus. Basically, we take your favorite indie comic book characters' power stats and abilities and get them prepared for that Indie Versus matchup. And we also have those sneak peeks and behind-the-scenes looks at all your favorite comics here at Midnight Comics. And, of course, please sign up for the mailing list where you'll get a free book from signing up. And, of course, you'll be up to date on all the things Midnight Comics on a regular basis.
And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with a friend.
So, with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. Remember, until next time, midnight is coming. Don't forget to check out our Patreon.
Summer night, it's summer night. She left me so late, should've spent the night. No need to hit follies, I'm working her body. I said she in love with the fit.